Dragging MP4s or MP3s onto your timeline doubles your editing time and causes Premiere Pro to lag. Let me show you the industry standard workflow that will double your speed and half your headaches. This is the same workflow I used when I got nominated for an Emmy, and it lets me say yes when producers ask me for a rough cut by the end of the day, no matter how many layers of tracks or effects I have on my timeline. Welcome to the video editing podcast from Unspice, where you'll learn how to overcome editing from the gut and consistently apply industry standard workflow and storytelling techniques that premium clients will pay £300 to £500 per day for. My name is Shiny. I'm an Emmy-nominated documentary and commercial editor that spent the last 15 years working for clients like Vice, BBC, Ogilvy, and more. Yes, hello, we are back. Thank you so much for your patience. It's been over a year since the last episode, and I just want to thank you all for listening, and especially to those who've been reaching out asking me, when are you going to make another episode? I had a baby and I felt like I've had no sleep for the last year. Thank you so much for hanging out. Let's crack on with the episode because I've set myself a new challenge to help you guys catch up and me. And I'm going to do 100 episodes in 100 days. Now, what most self-taught editors don't understand is that workflow isn't just the order that you do stuff. It's how you prepare for editing. There's two types of workflow. There's technical workflow, which is the file formats, the folder structures, kind of all the geeky stuff, tech stuff. And the creative workflow, which is the order that you build and edit to be most efficient. Today, we're talking about technical workflow. Now, this is what separates editors who finish a job smoothly versus editors who want to throw their laptop out the window. It's really, really important stuff. It's the foundational stuff. So why do some editors breeze through edits while others experience constant lag and crashes, etc., etc.? Well, imagine this scenario. You're dragging your MP4s onto your timeline. You're dragging your MP3s. Things go well at first. You know, there's a little lag when you're dragging the playhead back and forth, especially if you're going backwards. You add more layers, you double up some footage, you're pulling clips, you're layering them up, you're adding effects, transitions. When you hit play, there's a little bit of a lag. You find the export times are taking longer and longer. You dread making changes because every time you have to make a change and do a new render, you may find you get error messages when you're exporting, and changes seem to take longer than they need. Simple things all of a sudden become really frustrating. And then you get annoyed, you blame the machine, you have to then talk to the client to give excuses, who then blames you, and then you get relieved when the project's over and you hope the next one's better. Spoiler alert, it isn't. Now, the problem isn't your computer. It's not even Premiere. It's because you are editing using delivery codecs. That's like trying to race a NASCAR around the Monaco circuit. Technically possible, but NASCARs are built to go fast in one direction and turn left. And Monaco has lots of tight right corners, which could cause you to crash. Now, before I share with you the solution, you have to understand that there are three keys to editing speed. Now, if you think about Formula One crew, they don't just work fast because they are skilled. They have equipment that's optimized for speed. Everything is organized and placed in a way that is easy to access and use, and they can adapt to any changes that happen mid-race. It's the same with your editing. The three keys are the speed of your machine, that is how fast Premiere responds, the speed of you, that is how quickly you can find clips and decide what to use, and then the speed of your response to changes. In other words, when a client comes in and says they want something changed, how quickly are you able to make that change, which is reliant on many different factors, including the first two keys. So now most editors will only focus on number two. That's the speed of you. That's keyboard shortcuts, how quickly you can do something. Maybe if I move my hands faster, I'll be able to edit faster and everything will work better. However, if the machine is choking on MP4s, then shortcuts are not going to help. Now, pros will focus on number one. That is the speed of your machine. And we're not talking about RAM. We're not talking about computer specs. We're not talking about CPUs and GPUs. No, we're talking about getting the machine to run smoothly. without lag, without crashes. Once you've mastered that, it's all about developing your speed. That is the second key, the speed of you. If you want a full overview of a junior versus a pro workflow, then you can find that in the last episode. I'll put a link here. So what do editors that work for premium clients know that self-taught editors do not? So there are three types of codecs: raw, working, and delivery. A raw format is really heavy. It's straight from the camera. It's got all the information you could possibly need. But to edit with it would be really, really, really slow. You can kind of think of a raw codec like a moving truck. You can store tons of information in it, but it's slow to maneuver. But you might need everything inside that moving truck at some point if you wanted to do a color grade, for example, or VFX. Then there's the working format, which is specifically for editing. It's optimized for the editing process. You can think of it like a performance road car, a super fast saloon, where it's got just enough information for you to do the edit with, if you want to do a little grade on there as well, but it's fast and responsive and takes corners super tightly. And then you've got delivery formats, which are optimized for file sharing, for the internet, for streaming. Small files, super fast. Delivery formats are kind of like the drag car. They're super, super fast, but only in one direction, in a straight line. Delivery formats are specifically made to be watched forwards, in one direction. And that's why if you drag the playhead backwards, it causes lag, because it's not used to being read backwards. So the solution is to cut using working codecs. That means your editing times will shorten. It means that you'll be able to get rid of slow playback. You'll stop crashes. Client changes won't feel like torture because you can work smoothly and responsively, and you can edit at the speed of your keys rather than having to wait for some lag. So in summary, correct technical workflow is when you interact with your machine, how fast does it respond? So what are the working codecs that you should be using when editing? Well, if you're working on a Mac, use ProRes. You should be transcoding your footage or ensuring that it is ProRes. And if you're working on a PC, DNx HD is the standard. So there's two methods you can use to ensure correct technical workflow, and that is either convert your MP4s to ProRes or DNx HD before editing, that's transcoding, or create proxies. So if you have raw format footage, or it's a very high resolution, for example, 4K, 6K, 8K, but you want to keep all of that in your project, so you're not replacing anything, then you can bring that into your project, assuming that your machine can handle it. Create proxies and attach proxies to that footage, and then work using only the proxies, which are low resolution, terrible looking quality versions of that original footage. This is the same workflow that I would use throughout my entire professional career for the last 15 years with Vice, BBC, Ogilvy, all the big names. And if ever a producer asked me, can I have a rough cut by the end of the day? I could say yes, because I knew that everything was in the right format, and the only thing holding me back was not my machine or the software or lags or crashes or anything like that. It was just my abilities. You don't have to be faster at clicking buttons to find these increases in speed. You just have to have the correct workflow. That gets you booked again and again because the client loves you, because there's no delays, and that gets you 300 to 500 pounds per day as a professional freelance editor, because clients will pay for reliability. And if you can't rely on your software, then how are you reliable? So having correct technical workflow increases your chances of repeat bookings with clients because they know they can trust you. So now you learn one small aspect of technical workflow. If you want to know my complete technical workflow system that I used with Vice and BBC and on Emmy-nominated productions, then the technical workflow workshop includes everything about file formats which prevent lag, complete transcoding and proxy workflow, end-to-end. I'll run you through the whole thing, how to prevent crashes before they even happen, export settings for every single situation, and you get to practice all of this on real documentary footage. Now, I've reduced the price because I believe this is foundational knowledge and every editor should know this. So I've priced it at a level that every editor can afford. To take a look at the workflow, just click at the link below. And if you want to know how a professional organizes their footage so that they can find exactly what they need when they need it, then listen to the next episode.